The hip-hop industry and Hollywood at large is in a frenzy. No one knows who'd be whisked away next in association to the Diddy scandal. And for this reason, many are disassociating themselves before the feds are at their door. The latest on that growing long list is Ice Cube. The veteran rapper-actor not only distanced himself from Diddy and his freak events, he also shared some hidden details about Jay-Z and Beyoncé's role in the whole ordeal. Y'all better sit tight for this one. It's going to be juicy. After the whole Cassie ordeal blew up in 2023, Diddy got under the radar of the feds and several other law enforcement agencies. Initially, many of his colleagues claimed he was just being targeted, as it's a norm for prominent individuals to get mixed up in a scandal. However, when the video of him hurting Cassie came to light, many of them retracted their statement. Only a few remained stuck on the fact that he made a mistake and has now repented. Ice Cube was one of those who made the claim. The rapper had been asked on a podcast what he thought of the Diddy scandal, and he shared that he wasn't surprised about what the business mogul was going through because the hip-hop industry was the Wild West. "I believe he's being targeted. I believe someone has the power to pull the trigger to make this stuff. This domino effect happened," were some of his exact words. However, when the feds led Diddy away in cuffs on September 15, 2024, and released his long indictment charges the next day, everyone knew it was best to back off. At this point, Ice Cube made it clear that he had never been to Diddy's freak-off parties, showing that he wasn't a close ally, just a colleague. He had made the statement at a concert he held a few days after Diddy's arrest. "Almost 40 years of rocking the mic, and I'ma tell you right now, me and WC, another rapper, ain't never been to a Diddy party. You ain't gotta worry about us on them tapes." Ice Cube didn't stop there, though. When the question of who Diddy's close allies arose, the veteran rapper sang like a canary, spilling the tea about some details he knew regarding Diddy's associates, but the most intriguing of them all are the details regarding Jay-Z and Queen Bee. Know that although Jay-Z might not have 1,000 baby oils stashed in his cupboard, he has more than enough skeletons lying in there, and his Queen Bee have been doing a lot more than making honey. After Diddy's arrest, it was assumed that some of his closest allies will come out to back his non-guilty plea, but so far, no one has. And this might suggest that he is in fact guilty, or his close allies are accomplices and are afraid of getting under the radar of the feds. A good example of those who have been suspiciously mute are the Carters. Jay-Z and Diddy have been really close pals since they got into the music industry in the 90s. Initially, there was a little bit of rivalry between the duo, as is the norm when two highly talented people are trying to leave their mark in the music industry. But then they found common ground and became amiable colleagues. Their friendship grew so that in 1997, the pair collaborated on a track that became a part of Diddy's debut studio album, No Way Out. It was absolutely glorious, but their careers were soon subject to controversy because they just couldn't stay away from their murky past.
Oh, you put that thing on the woo!
So you see how we do it here on the Saturday. This is what it's about to be. I mean, look at my mantras real quick. Be kind.
Like many others from the hood, Jay-Z and Diddy were involved in shady deals when they were younger before they stepped into the limelight. However, you can take a boy out of the hood, but sometimes it's nearly impossible to take the hood out of the boy. From what Ice Cube has revealed, the duo kept going back to their old ways. The legal troubles they faced in the early years were mostly individual troubles. But if you take a closer look, you'd see a pattern of similarities, and there are also details about them covering up for each other using the connections they've built. Let's take a trip down memory lane. On 5th of April, 1999, just a while after the music video for Nas' Hate Me Now, where Diddy was crucified on MTV, the rapper and two others burst into the office of Steve Stoute, Nas' manager at the time, and attacked him. No major harm was caused, but Stoute sued Diddy, which led to Diddy paying an out-of-court settlement of $500,000. Diddy also had to spend one day in an anger management class.
Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, the rap star voluntarily turned himself in here at the precinct earlier this evening. Now, Carter is being held here in connection with that stabbing fight that erupted at the Kit Kat Club last night.
Jay-Z probably didn't learn from Diddy's mistakes, or he just wanted to emulate him, because a few months later, he was arrested for stabbing Lance Rivera, the Entertainment Records president at the time. It's believed that Jay-Z thought Rivera had been distributing bootleg copies of his new Rockefeller/Def Jam album, Volume 3, The Life and Times of S. Carter, which wasn't supposed to hit the stores until Dec 28 that year. And to him, the ideal punishment for such a crime was to plunge a knife into the back and stomach of the executive producer. Due to the severity of the crime, he didn't just get a day in anger management class. He was sentenced to 3 years of probation. Just a few days after Jay-Z's arrest, on December 27, 1999, Diddy was back in cuffs as he, his protege rapper Shine, and his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez were at Club New York in Times Square in Manhattan when gunfire broke out. The fight had ensued when Diddy got into an argument with another patron over who was the king of New York. And although Diddy denied causing any harm, he and Shine were charged with 4 weapons-related charges and bribery for asking his driver, Wardell Fenderson, to claim ownership of his gun.
An 18-year-old kid, just wanting to do nothing other than make my mother proud and make Belize proud and do what all of us want to do, be recognized for our talent and take over the world. I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison. So that is the context by which you must always describe that relationship. Yes, I forgave. Let us not lose sight of what the cold hard facts are. This was not someone who I vacationed with and who he and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life.
In a shocking turn of events, Diddy was found not guilty on all charges, and Shine was left to suffer the brunt, as he was convicted on 5 of his 8 charges. This led to his being sentenced to 10 years in prison. Besides their inclination for violence, details show that Diddy and Jay-Z also share similar traits when it comes to the treatment of women. One thing about Jay-Z is that unlike Diddy, he keeps his ugly business quiet, and only those really close to him would have the details. However, there's no guarantee of those aware being quiet forever.
Yeah. Now, something you mentioned Jay-Z, and I don't want to skip ahead too fast, but comment briefly on what's going on with him right now and just the negative press that he has gotten for what occurred.
Well, I can't really comment on it because I wasn't there.
A few years ago, rumors of Jay-Z's relationship with Foxy Brown came to light. The female rapper was 16 while Jay-Z was 25 when they got together. Reports show that Jay-Z allegedly paid Foxy a huge sum of money to keep her quiet when things didn't work out between them. This claim was backed by the details revealed when Dame Dash, Jay-Z's former business partner, was questioned about it.
How come nobody addresses the elephant in the room? So everybody asked me, what happened with Jay? What happened with Jay? Jay ain't never said a word about this.
Right.
Ask Jay.
Right.
You ask Jay what happened.
Right.
You ask Biggs what happened.
Right.
Let them tell you, because when I say it, I'm just talking. But why? Nobody want to talk about it.
Right. But I'm even going beyond that.
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about that. See, that's the thing.
I'm talking about relationships
Yeah,
in
but
general.
what other relationship you talking about?
Nick Cannon had asked Dame about Foxy and Jay-Z's relationship in an interview he held when the R. Kelly docuseries was released. Nick suggested that R. Kelly was not the only predator in the industry, mentioning that Jay-Z might be too. But Dame didn't deny or confirm the claim. He only said Cannon would have to ask Jay-Z to get the accurate details. As regards R. Kelly, Dame didn't hold back when describing the relationship between the R&B star and the rapper. He said Jay-Z refused to distance himself from Kelly even after the disturbing details about his behavior became known. The former business partner revealed that he had tried to convince Jay-Z to stay away from Kelly as it would taint his image, but the senior Carter turned deaf ears and continued to show up for the musician. In fact, that was one of the reasons Dame allegedly severed ties with him. Dame's reaction when he was accused of working with Kelly due to his affiliations with Jay-Z was this: "You never seen me with this dude. What you talking about? Because he with him, I'm with him? You don't see no picture of me with him? I'm not getting in no scenes with homie? Don't ever put that on me. I find it offensive."
We dealt with that. He told me about him and Aaliyah, their situation. They had a pact, pins and eyeballs, no matter what anyone said, or if anyone stuck pins in their eyeballs, they would never tell about their relationship. Things like that.
Okay, so what exactly did he tell you about his relationship with Aaliyah, outside of the pins and eyeballs thing?
He told me that they were married, that she was pregnant, that they did doctor up the marriage certificate, so she would say that she was 18, so they could get married. And the reason they got married was because they felt like if he was married to her, and if he said he thought that she was 18, that he wouldn't be charged if someone found out she was pregnant until they were able to get the abortion.
Jay-Z really should have listened to Dame because the R. Kelly stuff was really a mess. Kelly had lied about Aaliyah's age, claiming she was a lot older when he married her when she was only 15 years old. He had also done some really messed up stuff with women that all got revealed in the docuseries.
How did you guys come up with the idea to do this project together?
I just say, like, we had the, the Fiesta remix and Not Guilty.
But when the details of Aaliyah were initially revealed, Jay-Z went ahead to collaborate with R. Kelly to release a joint album, The Best of Both Worlds. And what makes things a lot more disturbing are the claims that Jay-Z, Diddy, and Kelly were all in on Aaliyah's death. The exact details remain hidden, but it's believed that the young musician was about to spill ugly details about the trio, and they had forced her to get on the plane that led to her tragic end. This is really disturbing because Jay-Z had also been interested in Aaliyah before she got married to Kelly. He had constantly pursued her by sending her flowers and inviting her to his exclusive events. However, she kept turning down his advances. The similarities between Diddy, Kelly, and Jay-Z can't be ignored in the sense that they like them young. Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie was also only 19 when they began their relationship. Jay-Z also didn't stop with Foxy and Aaliyah. His wife Beyoncé was also very young when she piqued his interest. In an interview with Charlie Rose, Jay-Z admitted that he met Beyoncé when she was 16, and she had caught her attention from the very beginning. However, out of respect for her, he waited till she was 18 before he pursued her. This might sound all sweet and endearing until you hear the disturbing claims that were revealed by Beyoncé's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron, recently. In now-deleted videos on TikTok, the man had gone on to share that Jay-Z introduced Bey to different substances leading to serious addiction that allowed him to make the Queen dance to his tunes. He also shared that the duo had worked together to destroy the career of fellow R&B artist Carrie Wilson.
You don't have to believe me, believe the facts. Here's a man that wanted to leave Bad Boy. He wanted to do his own thing.
He also revealed some details about Jay-Z and Diddy's involvement in getting Big killed. Although these claims are unfounded, and nobody has really dug deeper, it shows the similarities between Diddy and Jay-Z. Cassie had also accused Diddy of feeding her substances like ketamine and ecstasy to make her bend to his will. Unfortunately, the constant consumption of substances also led to a severe addiction that almost ended her life. Another disturbing incident that shows that Jay-Z is no saint and might be very much involved in Diddy's activities is the Kathy White debacle.
We'll be breaking down the entire story between Jay and his alleged mistress, the strange connection between Jay-Z and Diddy.
In a documentary that was released in July 2024, the secret details about the relationship between Kathy Corey White and Jay-Z came to light. It also revealed the horrifying things that Diddy and Jay-Z allegedly did to keep the whole incident quiet. And it all started in 2010. In 2010, Kathy, who was a friend of Claudia Jordan, a prominent model acquainted with Jay-Z, had found her way into the business mogul's circle. According to rumors, one thing led to the other, and they began dating. Know that Jay-Z and Beyoncé were already married at the time. The relationship allegedly stretched for a year until Kathy suddenly died of brain aneurysm. That would have been the end of the story if Hollywood Street King hadn't dropped a bombshell claiming that Kathy had been pregnant with Jay-Z's child. According to the Street King, when the paparazzi got wind of Kathy and Jay-Z's blooming romance, they all wanted to be the first to cover the full details, so they kept hounding the young model. At first, she found it disturbing, but soon began to revere the attention, and that was the beginning of her troubles with Jay-Z. The Grammy-winning musician didn't want anything tarnishing his image, and he was ready to do anything to keep things quiet. Initially, the hush money he paid her to stay quiet was enough for the model. But when she got pregnant and found out she was having a boy, she was ready to flaunt her bump and let the world know she was having the senior Carter's first child. However, Jay-Z was not having it. To make things worse, Beyoncé also discovered that she was having their first child. So Jay-Z was determined to keep Kathy's pregnancy quiet forever. Now this is where things get murky. A few weeks after Kathy told Jay-Z about her pregnancy, and a few days before the model decided to meet with a reporter to grant an interview about her relationship with Jay-Z, a frantic call was gotten from her apartment in Manhattan. In the 911 call, Kathy had been struggling for her life, and when help came, she was rushed to Beth Israel Hospital. A few minutes later, she was pronounced dead, and the cause was revealed to be a brain aneurysm. For some reason, many suspected foul play, and an autopsy was carried out. However, the result of the autopsy was kept quiet, and the only thing that kept going round was that someone had slipped a fatal substance into something she consumed, which led to the freakish accident. These claims of suspicious activities might have been chalked up as a rumor and completely ignored if Rihanna's publicist, Jonathan Hay, had not also shared the incident that happened when Rihanna was just an upcoming years back. A few years back, Jonathan revealed that he had fabricated a story about Rihanna and Jay-Z having an affair in order to get more media coverage for Rihanna. But after the documentary about Kathy, he revealed more. He started by sharing his thoughts when he decided to create the rumor about Rihanna and Jay-Z. He said he had meant no harm, but he was angry at Jay-Z at the time and didn't care if it became a huge deal. When I executed this controversial publicity and marketing campaign for Rihanna's debut single, she was an unknown artist, and I was hungry for a hit, and I knew that Pon de Replay was a special song. I had direct access to Jay-Z back then from working with Emile, the female rap artist, on a couple of Jay-Z's biggest hit records at the time. He continued by saying that he had tried to pitch Rihanna as Jay-Z's latest protege on Def Jam by reaching out to his contacts in MTV, but that didn't work out as MTV only wrote a small piece about her. He said other press agencies were also uninterested, and that was because Jay-Z refused to back up his claims about Rihanna. That was when he decided to go down the controversial route. I thought Jay-Z was a dirtbag, so I put out the story that Jay-Z was in a love triangle with Rihanna and Beyoncé, and that caught fire, sparked conversation, increased radio airplay, press coverage, and other forms of attention. I was in an unapologetic, by any means necessary state of mind. Jonathan caught the desired attention, but nothing could have prepared him for the feds to stop him on his way out a few days later. He went on to describe how one day he was approached by the feds, and they had all these questions about Jay-Z and Rihanna, but he was dumbfounded thinking that the business mogul had gotten the feds to threaten him. However, it was something more sinister. One day, unmarked law enforcement cars stopped me. These intimidating individuals introduced themselves as a federal task force, and they requested to speak with me. So I followed them to take, and I was in a complete state of panic. As I sat in the desolate, makeshift interrogation room, the gravity of the situation became clear to me. He continued. They mentioned that they had been keeping a close watch on Jay-Z since he stabbed Lanza Rivera, and he was also being implicated in a violent incident with R. Kelly during their joint tour, promoting Jay-Z and R. Kelly's joint album. The officers clarified that they were investigating Jay-Z for allegedly engaging in sexual activity with underage Rihanna and transporting her across international borders. They said she wasn't the only one, and there were many others. Jonathan shared that he had tried to explain that the whole Rihanna claim was untrue, but the feds believed otherwise, and it made him wonder what details they had about the Grammy-winning musician. If the claims about Jay-Z being involved in transporting underage girls across borders for illicit activities is true, then it means he and Diddy thread the same paths. This is because one of the charges filed against Diddy is human trafficking. If all the pictures we've painted of Diddy and Jay-Z having similarities is not enough, let's add one more detail. At this point, it's no news that Diddy swings both ways, as both men and women have accused him of molesting them. In fact, recent details show that 120 people have made claims of being assaulted by the rapper, and 60 of them are men. Similarly, Jay-Z has been accused of being bisexual. The rumor started when his mother, Gloria Carter, came out of the closet and revealed that she was lesbian. In the album 444, Jay-Z had shared how pleased he was to find out that his mom was gay and was enjoying the love she deserved. Although he had always been an ardent supporter of the LGBTQ community, remember a speech he gave during an interview with CNN in 2TP Sand and 12. I've always thought now allowing same-sex marriage as something that was still holding the country back. What people do in their own homes is their business, and you can choose to love whoever you love. That's their business. It is no different than discriminating against blacks. It's discrimination, plain and simple. The rumors about him being gay did not really blow up until 2017. Some suggested that his mother coming out helped him embrace his true self, while some said he was only with Beyoncé because he wanted to keep up an appearance. But things really blew up recently with the whole Diddy ordeal. The comedian Corey Holcomb suggested in a recent podcast that the senior Carter might be gay, and Diddy might have been in bed with him, not literally though, in his gay activities. 50 Cent, who has been stirring up the fire since Diddy's arrest, also suggested this in several of his jabs against the pair. If the information turns out to be true, then there's a good chance that Jay-Z has been a part of Diddy's freak parties just to satisfy his needs. Even if he stays away from the messy freak party, he knows about it and has kept quiet all these years. As for Beyoncé, she has not said a word about all the allegations filed against her family. To some, her silence means knowledge, while some believe it depicts ignorance, as there are rumors of her filing for divorce amidst the whole ordeal. Beyoncé has always been a strong supporter of her husband and has always been quick to his defense, but this time around, she has been extremely quiet. If her silence is due to shock of the details about Diddy's activities and what her husband might be in on, it would be hard to blame her. Imagine you find out that your husband might be an accomplice in a major part of Diddy's ugly crimes or maybe even help cover up. The shock will keep you quiet for days. Let's share some ugly allegations about Diddy to refresh your memory.
He pushed me and I fell to the ground. And then he stood over me. So I was laying on my back and he stood over me and he started punching me like this. He avoided my face, but he started punching me on the side of my head, and I was just covering my face. And he did that, and then after he got done doing that, he cuz he was standing, his legs were in between me. So he stomped on my stomach really hard, and I took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe.
In 2019, Diddy's ex Gina Huen had told blogger Tasha K that the musician had physically abused her all through their 5-year relationship. She shared that he was constantly comparing her to Cassie and he would hit her severally, leading to her being severely injured. She rounded off by mentioning that everyone in the musician's circle was aware of it. Jay-Z is clearly in that circle. Then there is the famous lawsuit by Cassie where she claimed he assaulted her in 2018, physically abused her, intimidated her, and made her have illicit relations with male escorts while he watched. Although Diddy denied the claims and the case was settled outside court, it led to many of his victims coming to share their own experiences too. Within a week, 3 women filed lawsuits against the musician. Several others came to corroborate the claim that Diddy constantly assaulted women. Just a few months later, the producer of the Love album, Lil Rod Jones, also filed a lawsuit claiming that Diddy had tried to groom him into accepting a homosexual relationship as he was constantly groping and touching him. He also mentioned that he had been drugged on several occasions where he would wake up naked and confused. After that, several other skeletons from Diddy's past began to resurface. Those he had assaulted back in the 90s began to file lawsuits, and the feds were able to gather enough evidence for his arrest. Currently, Diddy awaits trial, and if he's found guilty, he would be locked away for a very long time. Although he continuously claims innocence, many that know him well enough have described him as a serial predator who made use of his fame, fortune, and status to hide his violent and disturbing sexual nature. According to reports, the business mogul wielded his power to bend people to his will regardless of who you were. It's the reason he was able to keep his dirty secret quiet for so long. As mentioned earlier, 120 people have accused Combs of sexual abuse. On October 1st, 2024, a lawyer in Texas shared these horrifying details, where he also revealed that 25 of the victims were minors at the time of the alleged abuse. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. The attorney claimed that the youngest alleged victim had met with Diddy at his Bad Boy offices in Manhattan for an audition in order to land a record deal. He claimed that rather than help with his career, Diddy and several other people at the studio had molested the little child, leaving the child scarred for life. Diddy is not a person anyone should be associated with right now, and whether or not the Carter are being quiet out of guilt, the truth will come to light in due time. Diddy, who is now 54 years old, never would have thought that his past, which he did so much to bury, would come back to haunt him. So what do you think of all that has been discussed? Do you believe Jay-Z is also an accomplice? Kindly let us know in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.